Good Wednesday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's weather forecast, we'll be talking about a second push of Arctic air, as well as some heavier snow moving across the northern states going through late this week and into the weekend, but a rapid warm up as we go into next week in late January. We'll be timing that out for you in today's weather forecast. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below for detailed weather breakdowns across North America, and simply by helping me get to 75,000 subscribers by the end of the month. And you can press the like button down below. It helps out more than you know. Let's look here at our geopotential height today, and this basically just shows the blue and the purple where the colder anomalies are and more where the greens, yellows, and oranges are. That's where we have more of the Pacific air, the milder air further to the south. And notice the core of that cold air is across southeastern Canada today. That will be pushing further east into eastern Canada, but not so fast. On Thursday, we have a second push of Arctic air across southern Canada, and that will surge down into the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast with those blue anomalies showing up. Another push, another lobe of the Arctic polar vortex will be pushing further to the south. And as we go into Saturday, that's going to be enhanced across the Northeast, the Ohio Valley, and parts of the Midwest as we go into that Saturday time frame this weekend. So taking a peek into our temperatures, here's your low temperatures this morning, waking up across the United States and southern Canada. The freezing line all the way south here to the Gulf Coast and northern Florida. Yes, we're waking up with morning lows in the mid and upper 20s across the Panama City region at 27 degrees this morning, 26 in the Houston region, and 19 in Dallas-Fort Worth this morning. So definitely very cold out there. This afternoon, temperatures do warm up, a lot warmer to the north than we have seen over the past few days. Single digits and teens, we'll take it above zero as we go into the afternoon. Across the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast, those below zero readings will be further up to the north across southern Canada. Then as we go into Thursday, much of the same like we see today, more of those single digits, teens and 20s further to the north, 30s and 40s to the south. But watch on Friday, we have a second push of Arctic air that does move further south into the Midwest with single digit highs there across portions of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, down there into Wisconsin and northern Illinois. And then as we go into Saturday morning, that's where the core of our second push of Arctic air will be, where we have below zero readings waking up Saturday morning, 10, 15, even 20 degrees below zero again, enhanced by that snowpack up here into the Midwest. And notice further south, even the Gulf Coast, we're going to be near freezing again. So much like this morning, our temperatures will be back down to the 20s and 30s all the way to the Gulf Coast and southern Texas. Let's look at our current weather conditions, what the radar does look like out there this morning. Lake effect snow machine in full force there across portions of the Great Lakes region. But our next big system moving across the Pacific Northwest with heavy snows there for Washington State, Oregon, Idaho, getting into Montana there, western Wyoming, and in and around the Salt Lake City area there in Utah. Going through today, lake effect snow will continue to meander across the Great Lakes region. We'll continue to add to our totals, but then looking to the west, turning our attention out here to the Pacific Northwest, we have the heavier snows breaking out there for the ski resorts out there in the Rockies and the Pacific Northwest there today. Tonight, some of that precipitation moves further to the east. We'll have a wing of precipitation moving across the Midwest there, across the Milwaukee, Chicago region, getting into Des Moines. We could have some lighter snowfall breaking out as we go through tonight. And looking at that snowfall accumulation through your Thursday morning, heaviest of the snows will obviously be up here in the Pacific Northwest. We have the cold air readily in place, the higher elevations to work with, so some decent snows expected here. But a narrow corridor of some light snow can be expected here across Nebraska, central Iowa near the Des Moines region, into northern Illinois, Rockford, into the western Chicago suburbs, even downtown Chicago there, into Cook County, into portions of Milwaukee. That extends into far northern Indiana and even southern lower Michigan, Grand Rapids, Lansing, over toward Detroit. we could be seeing a quick 1 to 3 inches of snow through your Thursday morning, but the heaviest of the snows will be up here in the Pacific Northwest, where we do have a foot to maybe 2 feet worth of snow through your Thursday morning time frame here for Washington State in the higher elevations, Oregon, getting into Idaho, much of Montana there, western Wyoming, northern Utah, and even northwestern Colorado gets in on the heaviest of the snows through your Thursday. Then as we go through Thursday, that first system will move off there into the northeast, bringing some lighter snow to New York State there into portions of Lake Erie. And then a second system will be quickly moving across the Dakotas into the Midwestern regions there on Thursday. That'll be bringing some lighter to moderate snowfall accumulations across the Chicagoland area again, Milwaukee, Madison, Wisconsin, Peoria, St. Louis this time, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, even over toward Detroit, Toledo. We start to see some heavier snow as we go into Thursday night. Then as we go into Friday, that lifts further off to the east and northeast across portions of the Mid-Atlantic here. We're seeing snow breaking out in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, into Maryland, into portions of West Virginia, Northern Virginia, getting down into the Smoky Mountains there, into portions of Kentucky, into Tennessee there. The Appalachians seeing some heavier snow even as far south as the Western Carolinas on Friday. And then we see that kind of linger across these regions as we go into that Friday night time frame, and lake effect snow will be re-aggravated with this system as well. So more heavy snows across the UP of Michigan there near Lake Superior. Western areas across Michigan could see that near the lake as well. And then Lake Erie could be giving off some heavier snow there as well for the Erie, Pennsylvania region towards Friday night. Here is your snowfall accumulation from now through your Saturday morning on January 20th time frame. The Pacific Northwest will be hit hard with some very heavy snows, but a nice corridor, a narrow corridor at that, across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley there, the southern Great Lakes, and into the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. We'll be seeing some decent snows going through Saturday. And kind of breaking it down region by region, we've already talked about the heavy snows up here across the Pacific Northwest. We'll be adding to our totals through Saturday morning. A couple of feet can be expected in some of these areas there across the Pacific Northwest. Moving down into the northern high plains and the upper Midwest here, portions of North Dakota, especially South Dakota here, northern Nebraska, getting into the Hawkeye state of Iowa, we could be seeing some heavier snows. A good 2 to 4 inches can be expected here around the Des Moines region. Portions there of Omaha, getting back into Rapid City in these areas as we go through Saturday morning. Then moving down into the Midwest, into the Ohio Valley, Chicago to Rockford, Illinois, to the Cedar Rapids, Iowa City region, Madison over here towards Milwaukee, getting into Indianapolis, Fort Wayne. We could be seeing some heavier snows through your Saturday morning time frame. Widespread 3 to 6 inches worth of snow, and this could be a little lake-induced across portions of Gary, Indiana, the South Bend region, and even immediate Chicago lakefront there into Cook County. We could actually be seeing some lake enhancement to our snow. So those snow totals could be pushing over 7 inches potentially with the fluffier nature of the snow through Saturday morning. And then moving across the Mid-Atlantic, you can see the heavier snows breaking out across Ohio here, eastern Kentucky, getting into eastern Tennessee, especially near the Cumberland Plateau and the Smoky Mountains, the Appalachians there from West Virginia into western Virginia and portions of the western Carolinas getting snow, and then on up into the Northeast, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, we start to see a good 2 to 4 inches worth of snow through Saturday. New York State getting into much of the Northeast, all the way up into Maine, we start to see some snowfall going into the weekend, and this will be the fluffy snow that's easy to move around and easy to accumulate. So looking at our travel disruptions through your Saturday morning commute, we have some major, if not extreme, travel disruptions in the highest of elevations across the Pacific Northwest, and then that narrow corridor across the northern high plains, the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the southern Great Lakes region, over into the Mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast, like we talked about. Could be seeing those minor to maybe moderate pockets of travel disruptions, especially as you go closer to the lakes there with some lake effect snow through your Saturday. Then as we go into next week, our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from Monday, January 22nd through Friday, January 26th, widespread above normal warmth across the United States here. We're going well above normal and an active period. So this means when you have warmer temperatures and active weather, that tends to produce more rainfall across the United States here. Looking first at our temperatures, next Monday on the 22nd of January, you can see the freezing line going all the way up to the north here, across the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and into the Northeast. South of that freezing line, temperatures will be readily into the 40s and the 50s out there. Next Wednesday, the freezing line goes all the way north into Canada. We have 40s and 50s further south, even 60s returning across the deep south there. And then finally, by Friday next week on the 26th of January, yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. New York City into the mid 50s there at 55 degrees or so, 58 up into the Hartford region, and 53 in Boston on Friday, 60s down here into Virginia, the Carolinas, and 70s definitely possible across southern Georgia into Florida next Friday. Looking at our precipitation chances next week, you can see on Monday we start to see one wave of rain across the southern plains there in the lower Mississippi Valley, across Oklahoma, into Texas, into western portions of Arkansas. That wave of rain will be slow to move east. We'll have that moving further north and east as we go into Wednesday. Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, getting into Arkansas there, eastern Texas, getting into Louisiana, Mississippi, and even down into Florida. We start to see some heavier rains on Wednesday, going through Thursday and even Friday time frame. Just wave after wave after wave of rain and thunderstorms will be moving across portions of the southern U.S. So the lower Mississippi Valley, with multiple waves of rain through next week, will be seeing some healthy rainfall accumulations. And this is what we like to see, especially with our drought outlook, where we have significant drought persisting across the Dixie Valley region and into the southern U.S. Looking here at our ECMWF model for rainfall, this is your European model guidance. The heaviest of the rains falling here across the southern U.S. into East Texas, eastern Oklahoma, into southern Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, into Mississippi, and portions there of Alabama. And compare that to the GFS model, the American model guidance, and you can see the heaviest of the rains into portions there of eastern Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and then potentially up to as far north as Kentucky there and Tennessee. So this model is a little bit more bullish on the rainfall, but you get the idea that the southern U.S. will be seeing the heavier rains, and the experts over here at the Climate Prediction Center actually forecast a moderate risk of excessive rainfall across the Dixie Valley region and also the southern U.S., with that slight risk all the way up into the Ohio Valley and the Missouri Valley during that last full week there into January. And then the heavier snows where the colder air is across the west, across the Pacific Northwest once more, and even portions of Colorado down into New Mexico, seeing some heavier snow during that next week time frame toward the end of January. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel down below for detailed weather breakdowns across North America. Press the like button down below. It helps me get closer to 75,000 subscribers. I do appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure to share this video with friends, family, and on social media, and I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their Wednesday out there.